We need to talk about what happened to Sally Stitch. Sally was a girl from a small village in the middle of the mountains. People described her as shy and awkward, and there was one group of kids who would always bully her. One day as Sally was walking home, the bullies found her and started throwing rocks at her. But then Sally did something that shocked them. She pointed at one of the bullies and said, "You will die in 3 days." At first they thought this must be a joke, but 3 days later that boy started unexpectedly throwing up blood. The doctors couldn't find out what caused it, and he passed away exactly when Sally predicted. Soon everyone knew about Sally's ability and it really scared them. So a group of villagers lured Sally into an abandoned mine, and once no one could see her or hear her scream, they tied her to a chair and took out a sewing needle. They stitched Sally's lips together so she could never foretell another death. Then they left her in the mine and sealed the door closed. It's said that since Sally passed away alone in the dark and unable to scream, she now haunts anyone who knows what really happened to her. And once you hear her story, you have to pass it on to someone else, or she'll appear by your bed with a needle to make sure you never speak again. So send this story to someone else and follow for more.
It's actually nighttime where I am right now. It is actually the worst night or the worst time to be recording any supernatural content whatsoever, bro. So as I was going through the whole Sally Stitch origin story, I was literally slightly electrocuted in shock, dude. Not even shock per se, but shock in terms of I felt creeped the fuck out, bro. But nonetheless, the show must go on. So the funny part about actually going through the origin story, where you actually do the research, right, and you find out who actually created Sally Stitch. Girl's name is Ashley. Somehow they felt the need to include the fact that she was unemployed and she was bored and she was at home. You could have just said she was bored and she was at home. Her TV was broken, her friends weren't online. So she saw it as a good idea to start a chain email reaction. How is that a good idea, man? At night? Couldn't you do this in the morning or the day? It's easier during the day, you know, when there's actually light outside, when human beings are still awake and not in La La Land. So because Ashley was bored, she saw it fit to create a demon from hell. So the story goes that she went straight to her computer and started typing this. Long ago, there lived a little girl in a small town that was at the foot of a mountain. She was very shy and awkward and had no friends. Her hair always hung in front of her face, which gave her a strange appearance, which made the villagers dislike her more. One day, on her way home, all the children in the town cornered her while she was walking. They started throwing rocks at her and calling her names. But the children suddenly stopped because the little girl raised her arm and pointed to one of the boys. "You will die in 3 days," she said. The kids got scared and ran off screaming. 3 days later, the boy unexpectedly started vomiting blood. He died before he reached the hospital. Soon the little girl started announcing more of the villagers' deaths, and they would all die on the predicted date. A wave of panic and fear swept over the town, so the remaining villagers had a meeting in the town hall. After an hour, they had finally decided. The next day, the young men in the village led the little girl into the mine, and as soon as they were out of sight, they grabbed her and led her into a secret chamber. They tied her arms, chest and legs to a chair. One of the men got out a rusty sewing needle. He then grabbed her lips and started sewing them together so she could never foretell another death. Then they left her in the chamber and sealed the mine forever. If you don't want the little girl to appear by your bedside tonight, send this to 12 people and the sender. If you don't, she'll appear by your bed tonight with a needle in her hand. So Ashley, being very proud of herself, she smirked before she went to bed upon creating this demon that will soon appear by her bedside, actually. As she found that 12 of her friends actually sent back the letter. So I'm assuming they were very spooked, dude, and I don't really blame them at all, because the story sounds very convincing and it is scary as shit. Hell, if somebody sent me that kind of letter, dude, it's highly likely that I'd probably respond with the very same chain letter back. Because like I said, I'm not trying to go to bed and see a little demon by the corner that's literally just trying to sew my mouth shut simply because I didn't play by the rules. But now here's where it gets really interesting, right? As Ashley that night was preparing for bed, as per usual, she noticed that there was some sort of a shadowy figure by the corner. So as the shadowy figure comes closer towards her, she notices that the girl's hair literally covers her face. She has a needle in her hand, and then she was wearing some sort of a white gown. So it occurred to Ashley that the demon that she herself had created was the very same demon that would essentially hand her down her judgment, because she too didn't play by the rules. And although she created the demon there was no way that she couldn't control the outcome in the end. The outcome was just damnation, bro. So the moral of the story is be careful what you wish for, folks, because it just might come true.
You won't be able to stare at this image.
Is there something following these children? What would you do if you recorded the following clip? The video shows two children playing amongst the trees, when suddenly, there is an odd creature floating right behind them. The parent that records the encounter yells at his children to come to him, and when he asks the children what it was, they answer that it was a friend. Do you know what this creepy creature was?
No, sorry guys. I'm trying to keep it together here, but I'm laughing, but it's all funny. The fact that the parent, who's supposed to protect their children and their young, was still standing and screaming from afar. How can you, as a parent who's supposed to look after me as a child, a toddler, screaming that I move away from where I am, when you can literally see a small little monster, what looks like a small little monster or demon or some sort of supernatural entity, and you're still just screaming from the back of your camera? Bruv, no. Guys, no. Like, this is not parenting, dude. Not a chance, dude. Is this new age parenting here? Is this what it's called? Because it doesn't make sense to me. The combos are not adding up, dude. The fact that you as a parent are standing behind your camera, why are you still recording this? Let's get it straight. Like, why are you still recording this, sir? Your kids, they're all being chased, but God, who knows what? And you're just standing there recording, and it's okay for you. Yeah, dude. Like, I feel like this is literally the parent of the year by far. You can tell they value their life more than their offspring's lives, dude. I won't lie to you. I'm going to be honest with you guys right now. I'm ashamed, a bit embarrassed, but I'm the kind of parent that would do this. I need to preserve and protect myself first. If I go over there and, I try to save my kids, we might not all make it. At least one of us has to make it. I completely understand. I believe in self-preservation before anything else, before anybody else. By anybody, I mean literally that. So you guys can judge me all you want, but I'm just being honest. I'm pretty sure some of you guys out there would do the exact same thing. You guys will never admit it, right? But I'll admit it, because I'm an honest man. I am a model citizen who believes strongly in self-preservation. Listen guys, I know it sounds a little selfish, granted. I know some of you guys are probably disgusted, but it still doesn't change my answer at all. In actual fact, I would definitely not go there. I am sorry. I don't even want to see it. Seeing that entity from afar is okay. I'm okay with it. I'm completely fine. They can play with it or run away from it. Who the hell knows what the hell they do? And the good news is the kids said it's a friend. So essentially, I mean, it's a win-win situation for everybody, is it not? And if it wasn't a friend, then worst case scenario is your kids will get eaten up by that thing and you'll still survive. That's the worst case scenario for them, not for you, dude. For your kids, yeah, but not definitely not for you, my friend. You will still live to see another day, and you can make more kids, but it's fine because you're alive. That's why you can do that. Because you'll still breathe. You'll mourn. I'll mourn my kids for a very long time, for years to come, before I have other kids. In actual fact, I'll probably make twice as many kids just to console myself and to know that at least if I have more, then if I lose a few, then I'll still have more. I know it sounds a little dark and creepy, guys, but like I said, I'm just being honest. I am the voice of reason. I am not a superhero. I am human, flesh and man. That's what I am. I can only do so much, guys. Even as a parent, you are limited in what you can do. That thing actually looks like a bit of an alien, rather. But still, dude. Yeah, I know. So sometimes you just gotta be selfish, bro. That's just how it is. It's just how the world works. And I am very comfortable with that. This needs to be said as well. I do respect any good parent out there that would literally run towards their children and would rather sacrifice themselves in the face of danger than to have their children eaten up or swallowed by a supernatural monster or entity that God knows where it comes from. I myself was raised by parents that are like that, but I myself would not do that. So the saying goes, like father, like son. Not so much in this case. Not so much with me, bruv. I am sorry, I just can't do it.
Kenzie? What the heck? Kenzie, what are you doing? What the heck?
Shower really fast. I need you to go shower. Please, Daniel. Who's that? Who is that? Get out of here. Get out of here. There's a guy outside. Look.
If that little boy hadn't locked the door behind him, God knows what would have happened. That oak looks like a pedophile of note. He looks like he was more after the little kid than he was after the mother. Or maybe he wants them both. He looks like a fucking creep of note. And it's odd, man. He just came out of nowhere, dude. I feel like this oak has been following them around. The odd part is, what for? Dude? Like, what are you doing at somebody else's home at ungodly hours, dude? Go home. If you don't have a home, don't sleep in my lawn. Go find some corner, or otherwise go bother somebody else. Why would you bother a mother and her son? Don't do that. He looks like a combination of psychopath, pedophile, and I don't know what the hell else, but it's like 5 other names that I could mention in there. So yeah, guys, be careful. These creeps, they live among us. Unfortunately, he's not the only one. There's hundreds of thousands, if not millions of them out there, man.